The Age of Milton is a period in English literature that spans the latter half of the 17th century to the beginning of the Augustan Age in the early 18th century. This period is named after the poet and writer John Milton, who is widely considered to be one of the most important figures in English literature. During the Age of Milton, English literature underwent significant changes and developments, shaped by the political and social upheavals of the time. The English Civil War, the Puritan Revolution, and the Restoration all had a profound impact on the literary landscape. These factors influence the themes, styles, and genres of the literature produced during this period. The background of the Age of Milton is shaped by several historical and cultural factors. The English Civil War, which began in 1642, was a major event that had a profound impact on English society and culture. The conflict between King Charles I and Parliament led to a period of political and social upheaval that lasted for over a decade. This period of turmoil resulted in the establishment of the Commonwealth, a period of republican rule led by Oliver Cromwell. The Age of Milton is characterized by several significant features, which include the rise of Puritanism. The Age of Milton saw the rise of Puritanism, a religious movement that emphasized plain language, simplicity, and religious piety. This is reflected in the works of writers such as John Bunyan, who wrote The Pilgrim's Progress, and in the poetry of Milton himself. They rejected the ornate style of the Renaissance in favor of a simpler, more direct approach. The emergence of the novel. The Age of Milton saw the emergence of the novel as a major literary genre. Writers such as Aphra Behn, Daniel Defoe, and Samuel Richardson published works that were characterized by their realism, detailed descriptions, and psychological depth. These works paved the way for the development of the novel as a major literary form in the 18th century. Political and religious controversy. The Age of Milton was a time of political and religious conflict, which is reflected in the literature of the period. The restoration of the monarchy in 1660 led to a period of instability and conflict, which is reflected in the works of writers such as John Dryden, who wrote political satires and plays. The religious conflicts of the period are reflected in the works of the metaphysical poets, such as Andrew Marvell and George Herbert, who used their poetry to explore questions of faith and doubt. The influence of Milton. John Milton remained a dominant figure in English literature throughout the Age of Milton. His epic poem Paradise Lost, published in 1667, is widely regarded as one of the greatest works of English literature. Its influence can be seen in the works of later writers such as William Wordsworth, Samuel Taylor Coleridge, and Percy Bysshe Shelley. Science and philosophy. The Age of Milton also saw significant developments in science and philosophy, which influenced the literature of the period. The works of Francis Bacon, René Descartes, and John Locke, among others, influenced writers such as John Dryden and John Milton, who incorporated scientific and philosophical ideas into their works. Emphasis on reason and rationality. The Age of Milton was marked by an emphasis on reason and rationality. This is reflected in the works of writers such as John Locke, who wrote on the nature of the human mind and the role of government, and in the poetry of Milton himself. Use of classical themes and forms. The Age of Milton saw a revival of interest in classical themes and forms, which is reflected in the works of writers such as John Dryden and Alexander Pope. The Age of Milton in English literature was a rich and diverse period with a variety of notable writers and their works. Some of the most important writers and their works during this period are John Milton, one of the most important writers of the Age of Milton. John Milton's works include Paradise Lost, Paradise Regained, and Samson Agonistus. His epic poem Paradise Lost is considered one of the greatest works of English literature. John Bunyan. Bunyan's most famous work is The Pilgrim's Progress, which is a religious allegory that describes the journey of a Christian pilgrim through life. It is one of the most widely read books in the English language. John Dryden, a prominent writer of the Restoration period. Dryden's works include plays such as All for Love, The Spanish Friar, and The Conquest of Granada. He also wrote poetry, including Absalom and Achitophel and Annus Mirabilis. Aphra Behn. Behn was one of the first professional female writers in English literature. Her works include plays such as The Rover, The Faint Courtesans, and The Widow Ranter. Samuel Pepys. Pepys is best known for his diary, which he kept from 1660 to 1669. The diary provides a fascinating glimpse into life in 17th century England, including the Great Fire of London and the Plague. Daniel Defoe. Defoe is best known for his novel Robinson Crusoe, which tells the story of a shipwrecked sailor who is stranded on a deserted island. He also wrote other novels, including Moll Flanders and Roxana. Jonathan Swift. Swift is best known for his satirical works, including Gulliver's Travels, A Modest Proposal, and The Battle of the Books. John Locke. Locke wrote on philosophy and political theory. An essay concerning human understanding and 2 treatises of government had a significant impact on English literature during the Age of Milton. In summary, the Age of Milton in English literature was a rich and diverse period with many important writers and their works. These writers included John Milton, John Bunyan, John Dryden, Aphra Behn, Samuel Pepys, Daniel Defoe, Jonathan Swift, and John Locke. Their works reflected the religious, political, and philosophical themes of the period and continue to be studied and admired today. In conclusion, the Age of Milton was a period of significant change and development in English literature. It was shaped by political and social upheavals, the rise of Puritanism, and the emergence of the novel as a major literary genre. The works produced during this period continue to be studied and admired for their literary and historical significance.